Tenable Network Security, creators of Nessus, the world's best vulnerability scanner. Jumpstart your security program today and evaluate Security Center CV, the continuous monitoring solution. For more information, visit them on the web at tenable.com. ProXPN is the leading VPN service offering free accounts, excellent premium features, and an outstanding commitment to privacy and security online. Use the discount code WEEKLY and save 50% off for life. NetSparker, the developers of desktop and cloud-based web application security scanners that enable you to automatically identify vulnerabilities in your web applications and web services. NetSparker scanners employ a unique and dead-accurate vulnerability scanning engine that automatically verifies vulnerabilities with a proof of concept. For more information, visit them on the web at netsparker.com or email them at contact@netsparker.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Security Weekly. That's right. The real creator of Bitcoin, the original person, was no, he wasn't. Never mind.
Craig, it's Craig.
What is? I started reading the story and I'm like,
it's not you, Paul.
What is
You're
going
like,
on?
Come on, that's me.
And then I was late to the game on the story. I'm like, how did I not read about this more? And then I watched some videos, read some articles, followed some links. And then I'm like, oh wait, but he decided not to. But there was a point where he did put some evidence out there,
which Dan Kaminsky
basically shit all over it and said, you're full of shit.
Yep. Yeah, there's all sorts of back and forth about this. And there was one that really clinched it. I've been following a little bit. There was one that kind of clinched it for me today. And there was the video of him sitting with the BBC person. So I don't know a lot about social engineering and microexpressions, but one of the things that I learned many years ago on the microexpressions thing is that you watch someone's eyes. And when someone is talking and they're not looking directly at you, their eyes will either go right or left. Thanks. Their eyes will go right or left. And when the eyes go right, they are remembering something that is true. Or they're talking about something that is true. If their eyes go left, they're accessing the left-hand portion of the other side of their brain, which is creative. So they're making something up or it's alive.
Why did your eyes just go left there, Larry?
Exactly. Now, allegedly, for left-handed people, it's backwards.
Oh.
But I'm right-handed. So, but
except on the weekends,
right? Wait, no, Apollo. Only when I'm in a hotel by myself. Come on now. So
you're saying by his microexpressions he was lying?
No, for his microexpressions, he was telling the truth whenever he was asked if he was Satoshi or any of those. There were a few times when he looked left, however. And those were, and I thought were some very interesting points, but they were not related to, are you Satoshi?
Right.
He looks right. If you ever gave me a Nobel Peace Prize or this, he looks left. But I will never accept any money. He looks right. So
if he is Satoshi, he doesn't need money. He's got $450 million.
But his thing is that I'm not in it for the money. I don't want your money. But if he said you were giving me a Nobel Peace Prize, look, I wouldn't accept it. Look left. But I don't want any of your money. Look right.
Yeah.
And it was very sort of weird that he tied the Nobel Peace Prize and money together.
I thought the whole conversation was just his manner of speech and mannerisms. I just thought were very awkward.
It was.
The whole thing felt very awkward.
He was under a lot of stress.
Yeah, you think that was stress related?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Could he be Satoshi but not the creator?
So he fully admits in the first 10 seconds of that is that, yes, I'm Satoshi, but I had a lot of help.
Right.
Sure.
And then if you look at the people that the Gizmodo and Wired articles say that he had help from, if you think about the stress that he was in, think about the other two alleged creators of Bitcoin.
Isn't one of them died?
Both of them.
Both of them died.
According to those Gizmodo and Wired articles, that one of them is dead because of old age, and the other one was dead under weird circumstances. I'd be concerned. I don't know. Either way, he was under some sort of stress.
People asked me some interesting questions when I posted this on Twitter. Like, who cares?
Yep.
And I was like, I care because, like,
Yeah.
it's like the Wizard of Oz, dude. Like, I want to see
Yeah.
who the wizard is,
Yeah,
right?
come on, sit back and get the popcorn.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like security reality TV.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then why does it matter? I'm like, yeah, it really doesn't. Especially in the case of Bitcoin, it doesn't matter, except that if
It's a
someone really
mystery.
does have 5 to in potentially 6% now, maybe 5%, once all the 21 million have been issued. That's kind of significant
Yeah.
because if they were to unload them, they could affect the Bitcoin market
Yeah,
economy
absolutely.
in a negative way, right?
Yeah.
Like the stock market, like dumping stock, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's really the only thing why I would care.
Yep. And the interesting thing too is that Craig was talking about in that BBC video about dealing with the Australian Tax Office in how it should be taxed an asset and when it's dispersed and when it should be dispersed as an income because it's not tangible now. And so there's lots of back and forth about that type of stuff and his involvement with the Australian Tax Office. we got
why
more information on.
come forward now?
I don't know. That's a good question, Mike.
So as he said in the video, he said, I wouldn't have come forward, but someone forced me to.
Mm.
I was forced to.
But he didn't go into the details on what that
He
meant.
did not.
Like
He
who
was
forced him and why?
He doesn't say. He said, I was forced to.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's more to that story, clearly.
Oh,
Tune
that's
in next week.
obvious.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, stand back and get the popcorn.
Well,
'Cause,
very concerning for me is the message that he left on his website was,
Yeah, I'm out.
goodbye for now, I'm out, or something like
No,
that.
it was goodbye. Not for now. It was goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people were speculating and hoping that that doesn't mean he's going to do anything drastic. So
Absolutely. Yeah. No, somebody was saying, what was it? Dave Mortimer was saying on Twitter to you that it was very much suicide notice.
right.
Like, yeah, yikes.
It's just a crazy situation
Yeah,
all around.
In any case, I think I will say that I have a lot of respect for Craig, because one, if he is Satoshi or he is one of the individuals that is quote the collective of Satoshi, brilliant man, and for that, awesome. The other one is if it turns out that he's false, brilliant social engineer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's kind
yeah.
of some respect either
Right.
way.
Right.
So
So-
brilliant either direction.
way.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. So yeah.
Silver lining mindset right there. I like that, Larry.
Yep. When the universe gives you lemons,
Like
have a party.
So
Add tequila. Isn't that our theme?
that is for today. That's for sure.
I don't know if there's anything else really interesting about that whole story
I think that's
that we
about it.
haven't covered. I think that's about it. Let's talk about image magic now. Paula, you've been looking
Oh,
into this image
yeah.
magic vulnerability.
Yeah.
Essentially, what it boils down to is image upload remote code execution.
Yeah. So I've been making websites since 2011, or I say 2001. A lot of them are PHP based. I've used Image Magic every day, day in and day out. There's basically two libraries for PHP with images, GD
Yep.
and Image Magic. So from what I've read, because I've read through this quite a bit today, because it came out 2 days ago, was the way Image Magic operates. You should think of Image Magic as similar to like VLC. It loads in a ton, over like apparently 200 image codecs. So that's pretty impressive right in and of itself. But it's a good and a bad thing. On the good side, it's really useful because you know everything and convert everything. On the downside, you're bringing in those dependencies and their vulnerabilities. So I don't think it's necessarily Image Magic in and of itself. I think it might be one of the libraries that it's calling has the
Well, it's
vulnerability.
a command it's calling, not even a library, it's a command.
Yeah.
Going up to the command line because it can't run all that code in memory space. Some things it has to convert. It has to dump out to the command line to convert it and then suck it back into the library. So the vulnerability had to do with the command line version, which makes sense now that we know
Yeah.
about all the codecs that it's handling.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. When you call into calling an external codec, really quickly the way file upload validation works is you check the it's called MIME type checking. First 4 bytes of a binary file is defining what the MIME type is: JPEG, PNG.
The magic bytes.
Magic bytes, yeah,
Magic,
4 magic bytes. It parses those and says, okay, cool. Image Magic says, okay, cool, this is a PNG. Use the PNG converter and then call that library. Apparently, some of the ones, I don't really know details of what actually is exploitable yet, because I was looking at the Metasploit module here, and people are saying it's kind of not too stable yet. You fake out which converter to use, and then you deliver the exploit.
Yeah.
So you'd make
That's how that
it, you'd make
works.
it think like use this converter.
Exactly. And apparently, I'm guessing that the way that converter is called is
Yeah.
insecure.
Right. Right.
So,
It's pretty awesome.
yeah.
I like it. OpenSSL had some vulnerabilities this week as well. 2 highly dangerous ones, in fact, including a man in the middle. Is this easy to exploit? Is this hard to exploit? Do we know? Does it matter?
Is there a logo?
No.
Is there
No
a
logo.
Oh
no
my
theme
God.
song.
Theme song.
The logo for ImageMagick is a wizard, FYI. Totally look that up. It's an amazing logo.
What do they call it? The ImageMagick one is being called. What is it being called? Oh,
I don't know.
We totally have to say this on the show.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, this is like this because ImageMagick's logo was like a wand, like a wizard's hat kind of thing. So of course they went with it and made a wizard
Get my
icon.
wizard robe.
Yeah.
What's the
magical.
quote? My wizard
I don
robe
my
and-
wizard my hat and wizard robe.
Yes, that. What do they call in this one?
Not sure.
Come on, someone.
Oh, the guys that released it.
um,
They said they had
Image Tragic.
Yes,
Image
if you
Tragic.
must.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
Yeah, it was,
Not ImageMagick. It's Image Tragic. So they
And it
did
was-
give it a name.
and it was the last one. Is like, oh God, if you must, all right, we're calling it.
Oh,
Image
and
Tragic.
they did give it a logo and a website.
website.
ImageTragic.com.
But no theme
Oh,
song.
beautiful.
No
beautiful.
theme song.
No theme song, not
No
yet.
theme
Image
song. Not
Tragic.
yet.
No theme song yet. There's
Yet.
still time.
What kind of
Right.
scares me
Kind
is
of
that,
like, oh, it's magic.
well, aside from
There you
that,
go. Got a theme song?
Tragic.
It's yeah, Paul just nailed it.
Yeah. It's totally gonna be like acapella too, like snapping your fingers.
We would harmonize with you if you had any talent.
I have zero talent in that arena.
we got to get Joff on jazz piano one of these days.
Oh yes, well I can do that. Yeah,
He's a jazz pianist.
I'm a jazz penis.
It is pretty jazzy.
He's very good at fingering.
Yeah, I hear he has jazz
Whoa.
hands.
Jazz hands.
Nice jazz hands, Joff. I'm glad you shared that
Do you
with
use
us.
your jazz hands on your jazz pianist?
As many times as I can.
All right, I'm skipping that story until we stop. The next story.
Okay.
I was going to go to a story, but we're talking about penis, so I'm going to skip to
You get a
another
little, you get a
story.
little verklempt.
Miniature car maker drops massive malware. This popular diecast car.
So just so we're clear, you hear penis and you go right to miniature.
Yes.
That's interesting,
Well,
Paul.
you know,
I'm not.
I-
Freudian.
There's something-
harmonious in my world
There's a,
for
there's
those
a,
two things
there's
to
a
go
micro
together.
expression here or what? No.
Yeah.
Micro, yes.
Hey, you're sitting
No,
next to him.
they
Tell
make
us.
miniature cars, Larry. Miniature
Okay.
cars. And they were hacked and they were distributing the Angler exploit kit. It appears the site has been compromised to an outdated Joomla content management system. Just thought I'd point that out.
Oh, beautiful. Yet another content management system.
Yet another content
Well, yeah,
management.
but that's simpler, right? It's an outdated system, which means patching.
Patching.
Mm-hmm.
Patching is important. Turns out patching is pretty hard for some. For most. I don't know.
And I thought Mike was going to say, but what problem are we trying to solve?
See? I fooled you.
Well, the thing is, I have this command in Bash. I call it, YOLO upgrade, sudo apt-get force quiet to dev null dist upgrade. It works beautifully.
Well, but here's the thing.
Until it doesn't.
That's not going to update necessarily your WordPress instance or your Joomla instance or the plugins that are associated. And as you heard with our interview with Pharaoh, you get stuck on your version of WordPress or Joomla or any of these other systems because either someone wrote some custom code or you're running some plugins that are critical to the operation of the site that if you upgrade,
Go away.
everything breaks.
Breaks.
Because there's so many different versions. I mean, PHP is another one that can pigeonhole you into, I can't update to the latest PHP because that's going to break my WordPress. And WordPress, and I remember when I worked for university, they used to have this site for all the
Tennessee
different,
hell.
well, they used to have a site for all the different groups on campus. Like all the different activities groups on campus. And they all needed a website. So they're like, we'll just create a WordPress instance or a PHP site, like multi-tenant site for
Yep.
all of these groups, and they can install whatever they want. Well, now you've got 75 different websites on one web server running PHP. You can't upgrade PHP because these 3 or 4 or 10 sites are running, have these calls that are going to be deprecated when you upgrade. You can't put any of the security things in. You can't make exec not work in
Because
your
these
function
other
calls.
12 sites are using exec.
Exactly.
Well, let's do this. I don't want to let Joff down. So why don't we look at it and say, what's the problem we're trying to solve? You know, I've been to some interesting things. Yeah, but hold on though, because I've been to some stuff interesting lately that's interested me, because one of the things that I see, and it always reminds me of our conversations, is, well, you need to patch. You need to patch faster. So I'm going to say, what's fast enough? Because if you say instantly, I mean, good luck with that. So the thing I find fascinating is as we look to more and more people that are migrating to the cloud, or forget the cloud for a second, just look at virtualization. You know, a lot of us have servers, right, Paul, like the thing you described where I've got one server runs PHP, I got 75 people on it. Now you could spin up 75 different instances and people could do stuff on their own, and, you know, if they're not compliant. All right, I didn't solve your problem, but the thing I find interesting is
Moving on.
I was hopeful. I was like, wow.
I know. I was trying. I was thinking.
No, shit.
Well, look at the question I have though. If we keep saying patching is the problem, and the answer is you have to patch faster, but we're looking at the realities of it, saying, yeah, that's not likely. Then, what's the solution to that?
Writing more resilient code.
Don't use fucking Joomla.
Well, that's your base cause right there. That's the root cause.
Sorry.
I would say there's two things. Is one, which you mentioned again, is yes, you can very quickly. Yep. Is you can very quickly and easily clone instances on Amazon, which is awesome. So you can clone an instance, run the upgrade, but then the next step is you have to verify the upgrade doesn't break things. So the question is, how do you do that? 9 times out of 10, the organization does that manually. So that goes back to doing automated end-to-end testing.
Is that what what Netflix does?
Exactly, yeah. Netflix, Facebook. So the tool to do that is called Selenium. So I do websites, so Selenium do that. Basically, you just automate all of the function calls and all the functionality. You don't need to do everything. You know, do like the top 10 use cases. Do the top 20% everyone uses.
So you basically write a Selenium script that uses your website like your users use your website to test it.
Yep.
Well, and then doesn't that feedback, I mean, if you think of this then as a process, and you know the things that you're going to test for, I mean, we could start to work with our developers and our testers and our business analysts to say, hey, if we stay within these bounds, we can move faster as an organization and we'll be more resilient. And if somebody wants to go outside of those bounds, I mean, they either have to have a really good business case for it, or we don't do it.
No. You missed it. You missed it. Like, you've all missed it.
Well, enlighten us, Jazz Hands.
I will. The answer is you've got to run your developer education program for these end users that are on these bad plugins, bad habits, bad stuff, and then you create a cesspool. You leave them in the cesspool, and you graduate them out of the cesspool for those that go through the learning program up until the point that you can kill the cesspool. That's what you got to do.
I don't think putting them in a cesspool is probably wrong.
Wow, yeah, that's the abundance.
I like to think of it as you're understanding the needs and requirements of your users and building something that is both going to solve their problems or give them functionality, but be resilient enough and secure enough that it's not getting owned
but
6 weeks a Sunday. And I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it's got to be better than Joomla.
So in other words, a cesspool.
A cesspool.
But said much nicer.
But you
A
missed
community pool, if you will.
Not a cesspool.
A community pool.
You missed the point.
Why? Why is that?
That you're turning loose development resources on people that have no education in the industry. Not even.
Yeah. So I'm saying don't let them develop anything. No, you get what we provide to you. Let them configure it enough to suit it to their needs.
That's not going to work, Paul. It's not going to work.
Why is that not going to work?
Because it's not working now, right? I mean,
We're not doing that now, though.
I think there's a difference between people who want to develop their own plugins or PHP or web applications and people that just need a website that, hey, I need to be able to upload images. I need to be able to have a forum. I need to be able to have a social component. I need to have a blog. Like, those are standard things. Now, your developer's job are different. If you got people that want to actually code a website, yes, I agree. You're going to need to train them if they want to, go into that realm.
They want to build all
those
things.
But I think
that's exactly what I said. You split it. You guys stay in the dirty little pool over there until you're ready to graduate it up. If you're not ready to graduate up into the Cool Kids Club, stay in the dirty little pool.
Yeah, but I'm saying give them a clean pool, not a dirty pool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. I got it.
They
now.
like that. Let them swim in the
much
clean.
better. It's much
clean
better.
pool.
Let-
And it may not be clean
That's
for
it.
long, but it may not be clean for long. But at least the pool you gave to them has no
Well,
piss
I
in
mean,
it.
someone's always going to throw a Snickers bar in the pool. I mean,
Right,
that
right.
kind of thing happens.
And then we have a cat.
All
we
I
have a
was
Caddyshack
pointing out
moment.
is that
Caddyshack moment.
Yeah, welcome to the ool. You'll
The
notice
ool,
there's no pee in it.
There's no pee in our rule.
There's no Snickers bars in my pool,
Ooh, Baby Ruth.
usually. Was it a Baby Ruth or was it a Snickers? It was a Baby Ruth. It was a Baby Ruth. You're right.
it's okay. It's very
Oh boy. No. 10-year-old Finnish boy uncovers Instagram comments vulnerability. He got $10,000 because he figured out a way to delete Instagram comments.
Other people's
Other people's Instagram comments, which I think is awesome. The other awesome thing is technically he can't use Instagram for another 3 years
Right.
because he's
Not
not because he
18.
found a vulnerability, but because he's not old enough.
Right.
But even though he's not old enough to use the site, he still gets his $10,000. And he says, this is the best part. Where did it go? Oh, he told a Finnish newspaper that he planned to use the money to buy a new bike, football equipment, and computers for his brothers.
Good on him.
This kid is my hero.
That's nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
$10,000.
And his parents finally turned around and looked at him and said, "Why, son, you're very useful."
Yes. Why don't you keep going to this bug
that
bounty
again.
thing so you can keep buying stuff for us?
So Paul, with your next son, you got to train him early.
Hey, that's right. I'm going to teach him how to hack into websites and get bug bounties. That's going to be the focus now. I'm shifting gears. No more Minecraft, dude. You're bug bounty all the time.
Get him programming into Minecraft.
That's
and then
right.
You're,
I was gonna say Minecraft is your feeder program, but 10 grand because you could delete somebody else's comment.
Yes.
That's 10 grand.
Yes.
That's a lack of access control right there. So
Absolutely.
it's probably a much deeper rooted problem
Yeah, we-
somewhere.
we-
Okay,
call
so that's so what he got paid on was a symptom, but when they looked at it, they're like, oh,
Yeah,
this is-
yeah. Well, it's a-
and we're going to
correct
give him some
object.
credit because he's 10.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Direct object access problem. We find those all the time.
But good on Snapchat. I mean, they saw the vulnerability, they acknowledged it, and the thing is,
Snapchat.
yeah, fair enough.
Instagram.
Instagram. Sorry,
Get your social networking correct, Apollo.
Wow.
This is all these newfangled
Get off my lawn.
things that
getting-
youngins use.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's too old.
I'm 29 years old now. I'm getting too old.
You're
now.
too old for all this newfangled stuff.
Oh, you got 1 year left and it's over, pal. Good
That's
luck.
it. You'll be old just like all of us.
The point I was trying to make was props on
Some of
them.
us are older than
Awesome
you.
response, and they're being responsible about it. They're, it's a PR thing, obviously, saying, "Oh, 10-year-old," but props on them. That's a good response.
It's also a media thing. And, oh, man, a 10-year-old just totally boned us.
Yeah,
yeah. It's also a
Yeah.
complete egg on the
Double-edged
face.
sword, right? But nobody's seeing it that way. Everybody's seeing the really good one.
Larry, you got a story you want to hit?
I think one that we can tie in with one of Mike's stories about the reverse engineering an ATM skimmer.
Yeah.
This one was pretty cool. They found that there was it wasn't the skimmer itself, but it was the camera that captures the pin entry in one of the little housings to protect people from seeing your pin.
Is that what they call a deep insert skimmer?
No, so that's different.
Sounds
and
hot.
which I think could have been in combination with this. So they've got this little tent over the pin pad entry that has a camera in it, which they moved. It came off, and they took it with them, and turned out it had a motion sensing camera that had USB input, and he didn't have a USB input thing that he could use, so he stripped a cable and held the braided wires in this thing, and it showed up as a removable media device
Wow.
and copied videos off of this the whole time while having to hold this cable and some really weird thing. But it was pretty neat, and they couldn't find the actual card skimmer. There was nothing on the outside that would come off, which is sort of a dovetail to Santa's story about the deep insert skimmer.
Sounds
Yeah,
so
I mean,
dirty.
here was my kind of my high level takeaway from it that I thought was kind of more interesting, which is we're watching attackers get smarter about this. And so, chip and pin for the children so the terrorists don't win. Let's go waste billions of dollars. But we still have skimmers. We have shimmers, so they figured out how to beat the chips already. And the thing about it is there's money in it. But here's the thing I love. I'm watching local news stations put this up more and more. They're alerting you when they find them on gas stations and in convenience stores and the like. We've seen videos of people trying to slide them on. People are getting really sensitive to this, and that's awesome. Oh, so now they've figured out how to hide them even better, right? It's not terribly surprising, but I don't know how many of you, when you stop and I've been traveling a lot lately, and I tend to drive. I'm always looking at the gas stations, and frankly, most of the time I'm looking at it going, well, I can't tell. I hope this works.
Yep.
Because they're getting good, and that was kind of the reason I shared it. Is just to say, I typically shy away from the whole attackers defenders thing, but this is one of those areas where attackers are clever.
Yep. Yeah, these deep insert ones are one of those you just can't tell because they're fully inside of the card slot, and they're meant to be disposable. Oop. They're cheap, they're flexible, they're thin. They transmit to a nearby base station for collection, so it's like not fully functional, and you can't see it. So it's in there, you can't see it. It gets discovered.
Cheap, flexible, they like the deep insert, huh?
They do.
I know, it's making me hot just listening.
Sounds like college all
Still
over
girl in
again.
high school like that.
Man, I think I married that girl. I mean,
Whoa!
On that note, I want to give a big thanks to Apollo, making cocktails, doing a technical segment. It cooked steaks for us for a segment
Damn,
previously.
I've got to come up to New England, man.
It was awesome. I'm gonna go get some more steaks. Larry,
I got Paul wet, and I
yes.
handled his meat.
Yes,
wow,
it was
wow.
awesome.
So that some night I'll have to do some sous vide steaks and bring them to the studio.
Please do.
and
Please do. We're
we'll get
fully
I'll let
functioning.
you know when I'm coming to town, Larry.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I see a potty.
Michael and
forming.
Joff, thank you very much for joining
Always
us
good to
this
be with you,
evening.
gentlemen.
Yes, we'll see everyone next week on Security Weekly. Larry, take us out.
Over and Epic Cat out.
Thanks, guys. I got to go get ready for the next show.